I don't think that there's really anything as nice as lying in the tent and listening to the rain on the tent. Like, there's something about being cocooned at that proximity, you know, like you only have a foot of space between you and everything else. It's so, I mean, it's weird because you're so visceral, but there's this illusion of safety. Like when the deer would come through, or, you know, the black bears would try and get into the food tents and stuff, they would walk right past you, and you can hear this animal that's outside of the fabric of your tent, and they're literally feet away, and you're not sure what type of animal it is, and it's probably bigger than you. It might have teeth, and there's this illusion of being so safe, something about just that thin wall. It's a construct. I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm thinking about the mules, the bells that they wore on their necks, and how amazing it was to come home from a day of work and listen to the bells of the mules grazing and associating it with like being fed and the end of work. God, it was such a happy time. I wish I could verbalize the emotion of being happy, but I would give anything to go back to be in the Klamath and Little North Fork River and sitting on this big rock by these cataracts. And I think that was like the first moment that I ever like felt really at peace with myself, was, you know, doing this crazy adventure as a young person. And, you know, it was so great. I mean, smell the smoke and, you know, having all of these memories flash of, you know, the best moments, you know, the tiger lilies in the fields and the hard work splitting logs by hands and the pain of carrying it on your shoulder, you know, being a woman and having to deal with working with 20 men and, you know, the smell of sweat and not showering for a week, the grime and, you know, taking off your socks and there being this ring of dirt around your entire body, and the only thing that's clean is your feet because of the wool, because the dust from all the dead trees goes through the cotton, and permadirt in your skin, and it's such a good time. And gosh, makes me, I think that's something I want to get back to. I miss it. Being in college, it was such a culture shock coming and from that experience to UA. I have so much resentment for my first semester and just the differences, you know, of being an adult, making adult decisions, to a child, a freshman, and that time, it's a dark time, and a lot of negative associations, a lot of depression, a lot of angst. Something about my tongue being sticky. It's hard to vocalize these thoughts. It's really difficult. I'm not sure whether I should be narrating my thoughts as they are or conducting a monologue to myself. It's kind of a weird thing to be talking to an audience with no audience in mind. I'm not quite sure. I should have gotten drunk for this, to be quite frank. Probably would have been a lot easier. I really want to go to the alcove tomorrow. See, I'm not lying. I'm trying to be true. I'm trying to do this right. I think I have to do away with this blindfold. It's quite uncomfortable. I'm so upset that my mom got a fake Christmas tree this year. I miss the smell of pine. I associate it with being done with school and everything, and to come home, which is it's lacking without the scent. Something about it was so disappointing, and I was so disappointed to see how she could not see that it was such a big deal to me. It's the hallmark of my childhood, and she just did away with it so easily. My favorite memories are there's just one getting the 3 Christmas trees off the Jeep with my dad and, dragging them through the kitchen, through the French doors and through the kitchen and up the stairs and mounting 2 of them on boxes and the one central Christmas tree and my mom yelling about pine needles. And I think I was 8. It was probably his best Christmas. I mean, who gets 3 Christmas trees? It's such a point of pride. I remember going and, bragging about it to all my friends. We had 3 Christmas trees this year. And I miss it. I miss being young in Annapolis. And Emily Shishko, I recently spoke to her on the phone. It was so weird to talk to someone that you have preserved so well in your childhood and to realize that they're not that 8-year-old next door neighbor anymore and that she's grown into an accountant living in Baltimore with a boyfriend and a loft. And it's so strange to see how people how central our thoughts become to our thoughts are everything, like Emily Shishko is to me that 8-year-old girl, who went to the sock hop with Ryan Lynch and was going to marry him and live down the street, and now she's this whole different thing, and in my head she'll always be that 8-year-old girl, and it was sad talking to her because she kind of shattered that for me, that preserved image, and I think maybe that's why I'm so bad at keeping up with people, is I especially if I like them, how terrible is that, but I don't want to shatter that perfection, that, those memories. And Alyssa probably is the most memorable to me. And I hear that she's in New York, which is incredible because she was always so adamant about living in the middle of